just reminded me that I used to work for the State Medical Society, and that's a very efficient way to disseminate information. You can start with your local chapter, your county medical society. They're always looking for topics for their monthly meetings, and that will get the information out to all the local physicians in your county. And work with your personal physician, the county medical society, the state medical society, and they can get the word out through the state. They're also always looking for continuing medical education opportunities. So the doctors can do an online course and get continuing medical education, and doctors and nurses, continuing medical education units proportionate to the number of hours they spend. A 1-hour CME course that FSH Society puts together could be distributed nationally through the AMA and get to physicians across the nation and get doctors who need to do their annual CME credits.
Anyone else? Anyone else have an idea for the next bucket challenge?
I don't know about bucket challenge, but we were just talking around the table. Somebody like Dr. Oz or Ellen, you know, they're always looking for public, personal interest stories. If you wanted to make an issue nationwide, and I mean, we get those programs in Canada as well. Couldn't someone with, you know, a particular situation get in touch with one of those people or their producers and maybe, you know, get something going that way? It's just a thought, because you see these things all the time with other issues, you know, why not this one?
Anybody else? I might hand it. Yeah, well, sorry.
With regard, oops.
Maybe I can ask for you.
Okay, I'll just. Well, obviously, one of the things we do is we try to pitch stories nationally and locally all the time to try to get more attention. I get earned media for FSHD-related stories. It's not easy because news media are inundated with people who want their story to be covered. So you are a news person. What are some tips for, you know, if people wanted to go to their local NPR station or news station, what is it that would grab the interest of a reporter or a editor?
Well, if you're having it's definitely, if you're having an event, you want to get in touch with your local newspapers and public radio stations. I know it's been difficult. I've talked to Dan and to June about getting coverage for the researcher meetings, which I guess are annual, right, Dan? Is that, yeah, and that's been an uphill climb. It's really hard to get editors interested, but you just have to keep trying. If you know of an event, a fundraiser that you want to do, for example, definitely try to get the attention of your local public radio station or your local newspaper. The other thing is for example, we here, and I don't know whether our public radio stations have this, but we have our own op-ed venue, and we're very open to input. We're called Cognoscenti. We generally like to appeal to, it's called Cognoscenti. We like to appeal to people in our listening area, but I think we'd be open to people from other parts of the country as well. I recently wrote one on a trip that I took to Brazil with my brother, who has FSHD. We went down for the World Cup, and I just talked about. We were asked both to talk about it, and he asked me to write it, and I talked about the challenges of flying around Brazil and getting into World Cup stadiums and taking subways, and so if you have an idea like that, we would be very open to it. Over here in the center of the room, somebody wants to talk. Yeah.
We always go to the MDA walk locally, But it would be good if we could buy a T-shirt that said FSH, so when we walked, then people would know we had FSH and know what kind of muscular dystrophy we were supporting.
Over here, this gentleman over here.
Thank you. It just occurred to me, cross-promotion. Many of us are involved in business or some sort of activity that has some kind of public profile. And we've done it on our website, our business website. We support, various organisations, including the FSH Society. So anybody who comes to our website for, business purposes will also get exposed accidentally to, those organisations that we support, including FSH Society, FSHD Global in Australia, etc. And I'm just wondering whether that's something that people may not have thought of until now.
Now that you mentioned cross-promotion, I'd like to mention that in public radio we have to take sponsors. We have to exchange something of equal value. But so if you have an event, for example, and you want to sell a sponsorship to that event, for example, if it's a walk or walk and roll, and you say you want to sell a $5,000 sponsorship, you can go to your local public radio station, and they will most likely, I know at WBUR we would definitely do it, we've done it with the Cape Cod Walk and Roll, they would most likely give you that sponsorship, and what they will do then is give you airtime to talk in those 10-minute public radio underwriting segments, or you can write something and have one of their people read it for you. And you basically, for example, I don't know how other stations would work, but at WBUR it's $250 will buy you one 10-second spot. So we did with the Cape Cod Walk and Roll, I think we did $2,000 sponsorship, which is the highest sponsorship that bought only 8 spots, right? It's not very good for getting the word out. But if you want to charge a lot of money, you'll find that public radio stations are very eager to barter with other nonprofits. So that's one way to get the word out if you want to do an event in your town. Anybody else out there?
I just had, I had a thought with regard to media coverage. It is difficult to get someone to just write that you're having an event to cover that. You have to find a human interest story in there somewhere that just somehow connects the dots for the media outlet. So I don't know if you are aware that on Friday evening, 11 o'clock news on the ABC News channel here in Boston, there was actually a short 1-minute piece about FSHD, and it was focused on actually Ray and Cindy here because they met each other and fell in love. And that, that's a human interest story. And the fact that they were coming, Ray was coming from Australia and Cindy was coming from Arizona. They're coming so far to Boston for this meeting. And the fact that there's a Wellstone Center here in Massachusetts, it was this sort of combination of things. And working through the UMass Medical School Communications Office, we collaborated and succeeded in getting WCVB interested in doing the story, and they're planning to do a magazine story later in the fall that would be longer and tell more of the medical and research story around FSHD. So you just have to really think flexibly, what's the human interest story? It's your kid who has FSHD is going for his Eagle Scout, or you're going to fly across the country to raise, whatever. We have a pilot here who's thought about doing that. We have someone else who's saying, well, maybe I'll ride my scooter across the country. Well, those are the kinds of things that, it's a little more arduous than an ice bucket challenge, but you just think about, and don't undersell yourself. I mean, you're the fact that you're doing it, why you're doing it, and maybe who you know and what you do for the rest of your life. That may be enough that somebody will find that interesting. So, so you have to look for that kind of hook, I think. So, and before I forget, I need to make an announcement. I think between 1:30 and 2, you've seen the video documentary team going around. If you would like to join them for a group shot that they want to do, they will be gathering out in the foyer between 1:30 and 2, so that's actually right now. And those videos, those interviews are also a very important part of our raising awareness. So thank you for everybody who participated. And if you haven't been approached and would like to participate, please find the video team and let them know. Thanks so much. Bye.